You might want to
testing the MRIs and the CAT scans and all of those things, and that's how they.
Well, dehydration is what happens to us very often.
It does, doesn't it?
I get it very, very often. I actually didn't notice it for years, till last year, early May, when I continued to have fever for a month. And then the doctors found out that I was short on
All right, thank you, everybody.
protein and on
Yeah.
It was supposed to be an example of Hillary Clinton's battle-tested experience.
I remember landing under sniper fire.
In the speech last week, Senator Clinton was referring to her visit to Tuzla, Bosnia in 1996 as First Lady. The brutal war was over, but hostilities continued. And though the trip was exactly 12 years ago tomorrow, the memory seemed etched in Clinton's mind.
There was supposed to be some kind of a greeting ceremony at the airport, but instead we just ran with our heads down to get into the vehicles to get to our base.
Problem is, that's not what happened. And we should know, CBS News accompanied the First Lady and daughter Chelsea on that Bosnia trip. That's Senator Clinton talking to me on the military flight into Tuzla. And these are the pictures we recorded of the greeting ceremony when the plane landed. Compare that to Senator Clinton's account.
I remember landing under sniper fire. There was no greeting ceremony, and we basically were told to run to our cars. Now that is what happened.
Thank you. There was no sniper fire either when Senator Clinton visited 2 Army outposts where she posed for photos, and no sniper fire back at the base,
Last night I had
where she sang at a USO show starring Sinbad and Sheryl Crow.
I can't cry no more.
Referring to the CBS News video, Clinton aides today acknowledged her arrival in Bosnia was not quite as dramatic as Clinton put it.
She meant that there was fire in the hillside around the area when we landed, which was the case.
Who knows if she misremembered, misspoke, exaggerated, whatever, it makes the case for Senator Obama that all this experience that she's been talking about is at least partly her imagination.
Chelsea Clinton was asked about Tuzla in Indiana.
I support what she said. I mean, yes, I was there as well, and I'm so honored that I was there with her and that I had the opportunity to travel with her.
If I said something that, I say a lot of things, millions of words a day. So if I misspoke, that was just a misstatement.
Good to see you.
Once again, her memory doesn't match our videotape. She and her daughter Chelsea lingered on the tarmac to greet U.S. military officials, took photos. There was the group of 7th graders on the tarmac too. And then Senator Clinton walked to the armored vehicle where she did eventually dock and enter.
Regarding your Bosnia trip, you said, I remember landing under sniper.
Yeah, no, wait, that's what I said when I was sleep deprived. You can read my book, and I said something very different. Yeah, I misspoke. Yeah, I totally misspoke. I've talked about this endlessly. I wrote about it, and I don't know what I was thinking. Because, yeah, we were told that we had to land under, some threats, and the military did a great job. I was the first lady taken to a war zone since Eleanor Roosevelt. But that was just sleep deprivation or something.
This has been a very long campaign. So occasionally, I am a human being like everybody else. And last week, for the first time in 12 or so years, I misspoke.
We landed in one of those corkscrew landings and ran out because they said there might be sniper fire. I don't remember anybody offering me tea on the tarmac when that was happening. The welcoming ceremony had to be moved inside because of sniper fire. I was the first high-profile American to go into Bosnia after the Dayton Peace Accords. Nearly everywhere I went, I was briefed both by the CIA, by the Department of Defense, by State Department.
But when you mention something like Bosnia, that people have responded, yeah, but she went to Bosnia, for example, with Sinbad, with a performer. That was
right.
what that was
That's
about.
right.
That wasn't really establishing any kind of foreign policy.
Oh, again, I certainly do remember that trip to Bosnia, and as Togo said, there was a saying around the White House that if a place was too small too poor or too dangerous. The president couldn't go, so send the first lady. And that's where we went. And I remember landing under sniper fire. There was supposed to be some kind of a greeting ceremony at the airport, but instead we just ran with our heads down to get into the vehicles to get to our base.
I know you recalled, ducking under sniper fire, and Sinbad, in his account, who was on the trip, he said that the most dangerous part was remembering where he was going to eat next.
He's a comedian, you know, Jeff. He's a comedian. When we were flying into Bosnia, we had to, part of the reason we were in the C-17 is because part of it is armored. I was moved up into the cockpit. Everyone else was told to sit on their bulletproof vests, you recall that. And we came in a evasive maneuver. There was no greeting ceremony, and we basically were told to run to our cars. Now that is what happened.
I can tell you that, it was not under my direction or anybody that I know of to have the passengers sit on their flak jackets. Nobody under my watch has ever directed somebody to sit on their flak jacket. So no evasive maneuver, okay? I tell you, I will give it to the commander of Air Base Eagle. He had that place, not only weren't there bullets flying around, there wasn't a bumblebee flying around. He had that place locked up tight. He had, it was really impressive. He had tanks pointing all the way around the perimeter. He had ground troops every place. He had helicopters in the air to make sure that nobody could, for any ground movement. And we did the same approach we did every time. And it was a steep approach, but that's because there were hills around it. But it was just what we do every time. I mean, every landing into there was the same way. And I'll be honest with you. I mean, if there had been sniper fire going on, Rusty, first of all, we wouldn't have landed. Okay, that's number one. Number two, we wouldn't have let her outside the plane. We had contingencies for just in case something like that. We would have gone around and gone back or gone someplace. But the fact that we landed tells you that there's nothing going to happen. There was no sniper fire on the ground. Let's just say that.